You like this room?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's important.
You can do it. You have to go back and walk again.
Ken, you are leading.
I'm leading.
You
Show
are.
your best side.
Come on in. Gotta go over there.
That's a good spot for me right there. I just stole your spot.
Orange and blue. Orange and blue.
She's always nice to everybody. Let her.
I only.
All right,
I thought it great.
Good.
Put it on. Get it right back down.
That's my job. That's my job.
Wire up there.
How much I had to get today. Keep your head nice.
Yeah. Our almost perfect conference room.
So welcome everybody to the Makayla Joy Sitton News Bunker. I feel honored that Jim asked me to say a few words in the dedication of this room. Here, I'll come around here so I can see everybody. Although me talking about this may be better that I don't look at you. So if I'm looking down, bear with me. So thank you for the honor. It is my honor to speak today.
Better you than I.
So I'll do my best. So Jim and I were actually chatting the other day about this dedication of this room, and it is, you know, this is our news bunker now, right? We're going to come in here and we're going to lay out our plan, and we got our crews everywhere, and this is where we're going to plan the day to go out and take down the competition. And we were chuckling, and when we talk about Makayla, we usually sigh and then tear up and then chuckle a little bit at the end. But in this conversation, we were chuckling about this beautiful face being the face of our news bunker, right? Our war room. And the juxtaposition of that, innocent and pure and kind and beautiful. And after you left, we were laughing at, how do you use that jive? And when he left, I thought, you know, she's the perfect face to be in this room. And I'm going to tell you why. She will ground us all moving forward. For those of you who didn't know Makayla, and Jim suspected maybe about 70% of you had never met her before, you know this. There's a thread that binds every single one of us here to this crazy business that we do every day, day in and day out, the roller coaster ride of missed slots and planned this and planned that and all that chaos. And it's a language that we speak to each other that really makes us more than colleagues or friends. It makes us family. And so when tragedy struck our family 9 years ago, this station, all of us, if you were here, you remember it, we charted right alongside them, and we walked through hell with the Sitton family. Our news director was on the scene all night. Obviously, it was a news story, but he was there to prop them up. And then he came back here for 2 days without sleep and propped the rest of us up so we could do what we had to do. And editors moved in over there with their sleeping bags and pillows, and they stayed all day and covered the story. And then they stayed all night because we wanted to have beautiful videos of this little girl at her memorial service. And every shot mattered, and every line mattered, and every bit of music made a difference. And talk about pressure, but this was important that we honor them and we honor our family. And veteran producers who've been here forever sat there a 20-second VO. Normally you'd bang it out. Paralyzed. You couldn't figure out how to even start it because we were covering our family. And Steve Wasserman, on the last court date of Makayla's tragedy, moving through the court system, he stood right over there hugging us and crying with us because of what we had been through. And so when we think about that, I remember it changed all of us. Never in my career had I reported on my family. I think most of us had never been in that boat before. And it changed us, I think, for the better. And I'll tell you something that Jim won't say because he's too humble, but this little girl was extraordinary. She could read a newspaper at the age of 6, cover to cover, and often did. She could read a novel, cover to cover, go to the library, check out a novel, not a storybook like most 6-year-olds. She'd check out a novel because she loved to read. She wrote a book and illustrated it and voiced it, and her parents published it after her death. Kelly did a beautiful piece on it. You should look it up. She was extraordinary. On Thanksgiving, she said, about Thanksgiving, she said, you know, it's not really Thanksgiving if you're not doing something to give something to people. If you're sitting around, you know, thinking about giving thanks, and it really should be called thanks feeling, right? You're like, wow, a 6-year-old just taught me a few lessons there. She was wise beyond her years and really extraordinary. So I think when we're sitting here and we're doing this and zips and crews and shows and social media, and Script says it's shining a light and giving voice, and Loyd says we have a mantra of authentic connections, that just for a minute as we leave, if we just consider if the story we're stacking, we're editing, we're running on, what if we were covering our family? I think you'll find it makes you go from really, really, really good. I think it'll make us extraordinary. And that's why she's here. Even though we were lacking in her. She's here to make us extraordinary.
Oh, we love you.
I just want to thank everyone for honoring Makayla. It's beautiful, and it's kind of strange to have pure innocence in a newsroom, conference room. I get it. But the reason we chose that picture was, look at her. She's an MMJ. She's in her ballet dress, and she's playing piano. So she's doing a little bit, she's multitasking, which is what we're all asked to do. And I would like to say also that when this happened, everyone, like Shannon said, they really did come together and pulled together. I mean, they were on scene with me, corporate, Steve Washman, the news director, Loyd, everybody. They even bought me, I didn't have a suit to go to the funeral. They even took me to the store and bought me a suit. And, it is family, and they did take care of me. And we'll be forever grateful for that. And Muriel and the little girls are coming, but I wanted them to miss this part because my daughters still, they don't even know the word murder. I'm trying to keep their innocence as long as possible. So, but they'll be here in a few minutes, and you guys can hug and kiss on them. So when's my flight leaving?
We thought you would do the honor of hanging the plaque up on the outside.
Where does it go? Okay, I can do that. You misspelled Makayla wrong.
No.
No.
Joking. Where it goes out here?
Never mind, I was having dreams.
Makayla Joy Sitton, conference room.
It's not going to get done.
Also joke, if you guys ever fire me, you have to bring me in this room to fire me.
Well,
There's nothing I can add to this thing. The only thing I will say is when we were kind of discussing all the different naming rights, when we got this room approved and we're coming up with, well, what do we call it, blah, blah, blah. The first 2 rooms in this building were the Flagler room and the Meisner room. These were people that meant something to West Palm Beach, but they didn't mean anything to anybody here. They're kind of fictional characters, real characters, but they were fiction in our interpretation of them. They were whatever we read. The next conference room that went up was the general manager's conference room, and that was appropriately named for Bill Brooks. That had an impact on people. I may be the last GM actually to have known Bill Brooks, but that was the last person that had an impact. And I thought, what would have the most impact, and Nicole and I discussed it, what would have the most impact in this entire newsroom, forward-looking, for the future? How do we always leave an imprint? And it's not with the Meisners and the Flaglers, because they don't mean anything to anybody. And we said, who would mean the most to the newsroom? And it was hands down Makayla. And that's how we came up with the name.
Wow.
So.
Well, some of the ways we used to cover stories, Shannon and I, when we worked together, we would, if they said, just spray it, that seemed so disrespectful to us. These are like people in tragic, if we're there, it's either their worst day of their life or the best day of their life, right? So to honor them, we would treat well, how would we do it? How would I like them if it was my mom or my sister? And how would I edit and what music? And would I do if it was a family member? And then when it happened to us, then we saw how important that is. Like, I've been in the scrums around the poor victims who've been murdered, right? I've been one of the bad guys, you know, with the camera, and I've also been on the other side. From the other side, it's ugly what we do as a lot of people, they run and hide, which is the worst thing you can do. But what I would get out, my only advice to the younger people is, like, respect the people we're covering like it is your sister or your daughter or your mom, because it is someone's sister or daughter or mom. And one day you might be on the other side of that. God forbid that ever happens. And that's what you would want for them. Afterwards, had news crews, America's Most Wanted, all the networks, everybody coming into my house. And I felt really disrespected if they just came in and you know, didn't even throw up a light, just, you know, top light, and just sprayed it and run. It was like, what? You know, I felt like, you know, very disrespectful. And if they came in, like the networks, you know, lit and everything, they were so apologetic. Oh, I'm sorry. It was just the opposite. It was like, no, this is how she should be honored, with excellence. Yeah. So that's what we strive for, is excellence.
On the night of the tragedy, Jim, I asked him later, he was in his grief and standing there, and Kelly and Tiffany and I were there, Tiffany Kenny from 25 were all there, and I asked him just a couple days ago, I said, that night he wanted to come out and talk to the cadre, the reporter cadre out there, you know, the live trucks. And I'm like, Jim, no, you're not going, no, we're all trying to tell him no. And he said, no, I'm going, I'm going to go talk about Makayla right now. This is just 2 hours after. And we were trying to talk him, and he went, and I never asked him why he insisted that night. You know, he knew we weren't leaving until we got something, right? And so he said, because, he said, I knew all those poor schleps were sitting out there, they just wanted to go home. If I just came out and gave them what they want, they could go home and go sleep in their own bed. Even that night, in that knee walking pain, he said, I know what they need, I know what they want, I just want them not to have to be here waiting for me to come out.
Well, how hypocritical would it have been of me for the past 20 years, putting cameras in victims' faces, whether they like it or not, to then not own up to that. Like, okay,
I just couldn't believe you
if
had
I
the
expect
presence.
you to do it, then I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So that's.
Yeah. So.
I need to go check to see if you're on the stage.
Makayla Joy Sitton.
Thank you, everybody.
Are we going to get the bars? It's a little bit. So for me, what you guys do with it from here is all on you. I give you this, you guys do the rest.
Thank you. You were here and then you skipped out and you missed it. How are we going to do this?
We'll look sideways. We have to compare. We can compare bellies.
Aw. I have to go see.
I'll come with you.
Mariel's here.
Just her?
Good to see you, sir.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'll sit here. I'll sit.
Bye. Good luck on your show. Good luck on the package.
And look, Natalia, can you read this? What does that say?
Makayla Joy Sitton.
What's the other words?
Conference room.
Very good. That's. And look, there's a picture of her in there. Awesome. And look at the cool bumper cars. You can get in and
Yeah, look, you can go like this.
look out, everybody.
Look, we get you in the
Come on, Maris, let's play bumper cars.
I'm gonna get you.
Boom.
Oh, he got me. This is a workout. I said, don't do it.
We need to put
You have to go like
bars
backwards. That's the fastest way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, backwards is the best way. That's the fastest way. Yeah, you can
Here we
really
go.
move.
Boom.
We gotta help Rayla. Her feet aren't long enough.
Boom. I'm the king of bumper cars.
Yeah, that one doesn't have a desk. You want me to come sit? You want me to push you?
Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Are they fun chairs? Have you ever seen chairs like this?
Oh, boom. Boom.
Those flowers are for you to take home. Nicole had them made for you today.
It took all the 5 minutes.
And you can look up there to see when your flight's leaving.
He said that in the speech.
Oh my goodness. I don't think they understood.
I don't think anybody got it.
I got it. I was laughing like
I got it. Everybody I think. Whoosh, you're really moving.
Boom.
You're doing it, Rayla. Good job. Yeah. She just See who can spin the fastest. Who can spin the fastest? Oh, I didn't think about this beforehand. Your papa once drove in a circle over and over again in the van because he knew it made Sam sick.
Oh no.
Let's pull that table. All right, here we go.
Uh-oh. Tally's gonna go.
1, 2, 3.
Game over.
Wah, wah,
Yeah, that's
wah.
fly open.
Man, that's
We have 2 lives
dangerous.
left.
Good thing I wasn't on my knees.
Yeah.
See, that's the one without the desk. That's the one you gotta do it.
Yeah.
That's the safe. Ready? Okay, wait, go over here, and I'm gonna come over here. Okay, ready?
Like spin them really fast.
Oh, okay, ready?
Hey, I appreciate it. I really do. Yeah,
Ready?
pass it along and
I'll tell you, watch your fingers, because if you run
I'm the part of all answers, so I appreciate it.
Whoa! It's like a magic trick. Ready? Get in.
Is Nicole still on the phone?
I think she might still be on the phone. You need a chair? I need a turn around.
Yeah.
Ready?
Thank you.